How's it going, guys? James here from Butler Farms, out here in the yard again, in a place where in my recent videos you've seen me quite a bit, setting out the blueberries, setting out the wild muscadine vines, and I'm up here doing a yearly thing that I come through and do. I am, I guess you would call it, servicing the blueberry trees. Not going to prune them today. I will do a little pruning as I service the ground around them, but just wanted to kind of bring you along and show you what I'm doing today. Now I've got, as you know, I've got about 20 to 25 blueberry bushes down through here on this part of the property, and they are varying ages. These down here where I am now being the oldest and most productive. And so what I'm doing is I'm coming through and I'm giving them their first dose of fertilizer. Now it's early February here, and it's a little bit earlier than when I normally fertilize them, but I do want to show you something down here as we walk down here for just a moment, and then I'll get back to the one that I'm showing you. I was out here watching or looking the other day, and this is what I'm starting to notice. I don't know if you can see what's happening here. We are budding out, buds are breaking, and it was time to get some fertilizer on them and do a little bit of pruning. It's happening earlier this year than what it normally does. After that extreme cold that we had and all of the snow and everything else that we've been putting up with, now what we're dealing with is about a week's worth of 75 to 80 degree weather. And so what it's done is it's kind of fooled these plants, not just blueberries, but pretty much all over the homestead here. It's fooled these plants into thinking it's time to go. We do have a lot of rain coming in next week, and some cooler temperatures. Now I don't know if we're through with the real cold stuff yet. I was hoping, to be honest with you, I was hoping for a couple more weeks of pretty cold weather. As most of you know, with fruit trees you need a certain number of chill hours, and I would imagine we're pretty close to them. But just to be sure to set good fruit this year, especially, you know, I've got young apple and pear trees and things like that, and you know, I'm hoping that this will be their first year bearing. I think this is year 4 or 5 for the ones that I put out in several years ago, so they should start putting on a few fruit this year. So I'm hoping that they got the chill hours that they need, but it is what it is. We're out here getting it done, and hoping for a big harvest of blueberries this year. So I'm going to turn you around here and let you see what I got going on and what I do here. Now again, I try to keep it as simple as I possibly can. I've already done all the rest of them down through there, and I saved this one to show you what I'm doing here. And so I got 3 simple little tools here. This little rake thing, I don't know where I got it or who I got it from, but this is my old pine straw left over from last year. Now the pile that I put out here last year was this big or bigger, and of course it rots down, and that's good, because again, we've talked about it several times. I don't know if you know, the pine straw that I rake up from the ground is changing the pH at all. We do know that blueberries like acidic soil. That's why I use organic fertilizer that acidifies the soil, even though we have pretty acidic soil around here anyway. But I've raked back, I've taken this little tool and I've very carefully raked back the old pine straw, and what I've done is, I don't know if you can see it around through there, I have put this organic fertilizer, and you can see it's right around that ring where that pine straw was. Now the roots of, I always have to pay attention to where they are. The roots of this particular blueberry bush are going to come out to about right here where that fertilizer starts. I don't want to put it up in the middle on top of the plant, obviously. And I'm just going to get out right outside with a tree. It'd be called a drip line. I don't know if it's called the same thing with a blueberry bush or not, but I've put it away from the plant, so the roots, if they want it, they've got to go get it, which creates more roots, which makes a stronger plant. And you know, we've had success with that over the years. Now another little tool that I have, even though I stack up my pine straw pretty high, the grass still comes through. And as you can see down through there, even way down there at the end where we were the other day setting out new blueberry bushes, I even put pine straw around them. And I do that for several reasons. Number one, to keep the grass down, to keep the competition out. I want those young blueberry bushes to get everything out of that soil that they can and not have to compete with grass and weeds. And to be honest with you, as small as some of those are down there that you saw in that last video, with all this grass that I have to cut out here, I sometimes get in a really big hurry. And the pine straw, just to be honest with you, is a reminder that, hey, there's a blueberry bush here. But mainly for these older ones up through here, it is to cut down on competition and to keep some of it down. Now, I can get pretty close with the lawnmower. About every other time that I cut grass, I also come through here with a push mower and get closer. And I do run a weed eater through here too. I got to be careful with the weed eater. The bark on these blueberry trees are extremely thin, and I don't want to damage them in any way, so I do come through here carefully with that, and the pine straw helps me not have to get so close. Now, the next little tool that I have are these big grass shears, I guess you call them, grass scissors. And after I rake that back, I come through and I take this grass that has grown up through the pine straw and I just cut it off just to get it out of the way. You can see right there where I just cut, there is a little green shoot. It is still winter, so the top of it's brown, but you can see there's green in it. And so I'm going to cut it off as close as I can and then bury it under that pine straw, and hopefully it'll kill it, it'll knock it back, and I won't have to deal with it coming up through my pine straw this year. Okay, so that's after I rake it back, I come through with these grass shears and I take care of any grass. Now, we've already got green grass growing out here, as you can see right here, so you know, I go ahead and take care of that as well and just go ahead and get it out of the way. I don't know that it helps much, but it makes me feel better anyway. The last is a good set of pruning shears, and I use these pretty much for all of my pruning. I've used cheap pairs, it's just not worth it. These are much better. And when I do my fruit trees, when I prune those, hopefully this afternoon or maybe tomorrow after church, I will use these. My fruit trees have gotten in a bad way as far as water chutes and stuff like that, so I've got to take care of those. Now, what we've got here are new little blueberry bushes. These are what we dig up and move. Here's a good one right here, another good one back here. But I'm done moving blueberry bushes for this year, and so all they're doing now is creating competition, and they're kind of in the way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come all the way down here to the bottom as close as I can, and I'm going to snip those off down here at the bottom, and I'm going to come all the way around and get all of these. And you can see back here how far these actually come away from the plant, and all creating competition that I don't need with these blueberry bushes. Now, again, I'm going to come through. You can see what we got going on up here, and I told you in a previous video, I'm not going to do a lot of heavy pruning on my blueberries this year. I'm going to have to with my fruit trees because they're getting out of control. They're getting too tall and water shoots everywhere, so I'm gonna have to do them. But I think I've been hitting my blueberries a little too hard, so I am going to kind of back off of them this year. I am going to trim it up some just to create some airflow and things like that. And so that brings me to what we got going on down here. Now, you can see this is one that I've cut off before. I think actually it broke off and I ended up having to cut it, and it's got new little growth on it. Well, as you can see, there's nothing on this new growth. There's no new growth nodules like you can see up here on some of this new growth. You can see where those are starting to bud out, and those are fruit nodes where I'm going to have fruit. So I'm going to come through and I'm going to snip all these off as well for the same reason. It's just less that the plant has to support. I'm going to get this guy right here. As you can see, there's nothing on it all the way up, and it is blocking my airflow. Now, back here on the back, I've got a little interesting problem. You can see this new growth here, and it doesn't have a lot on it, but I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to give it a chance. But this back piece coming off here, it does have life in it out here on the end, but as you can see, there's nothing on it. and it is blocking me from being able to cut around it. It's blocking me from being able to get airflow through. So I'm going to snip it off as well and get rid of it. And I don't really consider cleaning up around the bottom to be pruning. I know it is, but I'm just trying to open it up, because what I want is I want airflow to come up through this bush, especially this summer. Now, while I'm here, I'm just going to get some of these little dead things hanging off the bottom here. I don't know that it makes much of a difference either way. It does make them look a little bit better, makes me feel a little bit better about it. But it also will open it up a little bit to airflow and things like that. Now, in an attempt to try to keep this video a little bit shorter and not make it extremely long, let me tell you, another reason that I went ahead and put the fertilizer on it now when I did is because with the organic fertilizer, as I've told you before, it takes a lot longer to kick in and to really do anything than the chemical fertilizer. That doesn't mean that I'm going to start using chemical fertilizer. I still use the organic fertilizer, but I've got to get it in there where it can start breaking down and will do me some good. So all of my older bushes I have fertilized. I put about, I guess, about a half a cup. As you see now, I could go heavier. I don't like to do that. I kind of like them to do it on their own. I do give them a little boost, and then I'll come back and I'll mark my calendar, and about 6 weeks from now I'll come back and pull this pine straw back again and hit it one more time, because in about 6 weeks from now that'll put us in mid to late March, and you'll really see the buds starting to pop then. And I'm gonna give it one more shot to push it through the summer. Now, I know some people will hit it a third time. I do not, because our blueberries usually come in June, late May into June, maybe a little bit into July, and I don't want to hit them again in the summer simply because I don't want them to take on a bunch of new growth before winter sets in. You know, I want them to have a rest period and to shut down. The new blueberries that I planted, I don't ever fertilize my first year blueberries. That's just a personal opinion of mine. I'm going to let them have time to get established. I don't want to create anything that you know, pushes them harder than what they need to be. I'm going to let them kind of do it on their own right here at the beginning. And you know, if they make it, then in the following years I'll start fertilizing a little, and I'll work my way up to what we're doing here, you know, to about a half a cup each time, twice a year. So again, I don't make it a big deal. You know, my whole idea with the things that I plant, whether it's the native muscadines, the wild muscadines, or these blueberries, did not come from Lowe's or Home Depot or anything like that. I've tried that in the past, and I know I've got to. Here in Alabama, we grow the rabbit eye blueberries, which species it is in particular, nobody can possibly tell me what these are, because these come off shoots of trees that are probably 15 years old or more, and they came off of shoots, you know, that were 15 or 20 years old before that. So there's no possible way that we can know the exact type, but they are rabbit eye blueberries. We know that they're acclimated to this part of the world, and we know that they produce heavy. And so I don't want to create a situation where I'm constantly having to baby a bunch of big box store fruit trees that aren't going to be productive. I've shown you these before. This one, these two right here, 1 and 2, are the oldest 2 blueberry bushes on this hill, and by far they are probably now about 8 years old, maybe even more than that. And then I started coming in and filling in. That one is about 6 years old, and you can see the difference. That, believe it or not, that's still alive. You'll get about a handful off of it a year. This one is younger, but came off one of my dad's blueberry bushes, and you can see what happens there. This one's a little bit better. It's another one from Lowe's. I don't remember the exact type, but you can see it doesn't do very much. But then you get down here to these, and they produce heavy every year. They are starting Well, this one right here, this is only a 4-year-old bush, and last year I picked it and picked it and picked it. Even this pretty sad looking, these two sad looking little things, these are 3-year-old bushes, and you can see all the buds starting to come on there, and they produced heavy. Those are the ones that I planted last year. Those 5 right there I planted last year, or 6, sorry, and then the next 6 down through there are the ones that y'all saw me put in this year. So we add a few every year. I don't know that I'm going to keep expanding on around. You know, at some point you get all that you need. Plus, I've got those that are being used to block the road up there. I've got 5 planted around my strawberry patch that I'm not even counting as part of these. So there's at least another 10 up the hill that I'm either using to block traffic from the road, or to just because I've got a space around where I put my strawberry patch in. So let's get back to this real quick, and I'll wrap this thing up here. So what I'm going to do is, I do not get rid of my old stuff. I mean, you can see that's really broken down, looks really good. And so I'll come and put it down as my base layer, because it will be, it's going to break down even more. It's going to break down even quicker. And so I'm going to put it in a real thin layer just to kind of cover the ground and get my shape, as you can see there. And then you can see that the pine straw that I have here, that's the pine straw that I went and got out of the woods. And of course it's got pine cones in it. I've been picking sticks out of it, but I honestly, there's a big stick in there right there, but I honestly don't care. I just break them up into smaller pieces, and they go in there too, and they rot and help out as well. And the beautiful thing about it is that it is free. It is renewable. Those pine trees, I wish I had vegetable and fruit trees that produce like those pine trees do every year, I'll be honest with you. But it is a resource that we use, and that we use to improve our fruit production around here. And that's pretty much it. I just shape it up like I want it. I do kind of pull it back away from the trunk area just a little bit. You know, you don't ever want to pack mulch or anything around the base too tightly anyway. I've never had a real problem with it, but you know, they say don't do that, so I try not to. But there it is, just a pretty little ring of pine straw that will rot down and keep the weeds out. That's about a, I guess about a, I don't know, about a 6-inch layer all the way around. So the weeds and stuff are really going to have to work to push through there, and by then the blueberries will be on their way and jamming, and we'll be on our way to picking a lot of fresh blueberries. So that's where I'm going to leave it for now. I'm getting ready to go put some of this pine straw around those other new ones that I planted up on top of the hill, and find something else out here in the yard to do. Guys, thank you for being with me. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Guys, tell a friend. Let's get this thing. We've slowed down a little bit here after Christmas. I understand that, it's that time of year, but hopefully it's getting ready to pick up again. Don't forget to tell a friend, and don't forget to come back and check often. I'm gonna post as often as I can. And until next time, God bless. This is James from Butler Farms, and we'll be seeing you.